Here's an important fact about me. I love machinery, but I hate IPCs. That's why I chose the path of Rust for my Heretic run. It specializes in area control, durability, and poison damage, but we aren't going to be using any of that. The only Heretic skill of interest to us is the Rusted Ritual, a simple rite that uses 30 steel, 15 wire, a shotgun, and a puddle of fuel to summon the magical equivalent of a child soldier. And just like a child soldier, they're mediocre at best in combat situations. They have a weak attack, slow move speed, and a slow ranged attack. The only fight they're winning would be one that took place in a daycare. Fortunately, as anyone who has played this game can tell you, it is a daycare. Unfortunately, it happens to be a daycare where all of the kids have high-functioning autism, anger issues, and a gun that kills rustwalkers in roughly 1.2 seconds. Additionally, while wire and steel are plentiful, shotguns and fuel are not. Shotguns having a moderately complex crafting recipe comparable to that of most street-level amphetamines. Hey, do you know what audio collision is? It's when a sound happens on the other side of a wall and you cannot hear it. Currently, my server is the only one to have this, so come check it out. More info at the end of the video. We start by unlocking a few simple techs that we're going to need, namely advanced engineering for its automation devices. Normally it would be wise to rush rifts for knowledge at the start of the round, but we only need a single one due to our access to the forbidden ritual, the Feast of Owls. Committing to the Feast of Owls gives us 6 knowledge points, enough to get partway through the tech tree. Its only downside is that much like doing copious amounts of methamphetamine, while it may make you stronger in the short term, it locks you out of Ascension. It also plays a very well done music theme. Give it a listen. After getting our starting techs, we seek out a local farmer for help. As luck would have it, he's a radical extremist, and upon asking him if he would help supply several thousand units of wood to produce firearms with, he enthusiastically agrees, given that he gets a cut of the guns. You can promise people anything, as long as you're willing to blow them up when the time comes. And now, it's time for us to collect our shopping list. First, we need to secure a source of cloth. We could grow some in botany, and we do grow a little bit, but this is terribly time inefficient compared to bribing cargo to get us some. Next, we steal the public autolathe from the homeless. Because of its inability to produce fentanyl, none of them seem to care all too much. On the way out, I notice a paramedic staring at an unclaimed rift. And you can tell by the way they look at that wall, they are a fellow heretic. To avoid them complicating our plans, we make peace with them by lying. Heretics are only permitted to work together if we are the same path, so we do a simple trick. First, we ask what path they are currently on. And second, we agree with whatever they say. Yes, brother, the Night Watcher will lead us to the Golden Age, and he did promise us this station 3,000 years ago. Next item on our list is easy. Using the tech we got earlier, we create a flat packer, a device that allows us to create easy to transport forms of station machinery. We make 4 constructors, a robotic arm, and a few conveyors, and we go on our way. Finally, heading to Botany, we can begin the construction of Tetanus Mecha. We expand Botany into the nearby low-income neighborhood, and we blame it on gentrification by the middle working class when questioned. Not only does this get the upset homeowners off of their trail, but it also creates class division. The construction process itself is pretty simple, but we have a few distractions. First of all, we're forced to take up a part-time job doing pest control, and then we resume our passion job of lying to the police. No, officer, that was not my contraband. Yes, officer, this device is going to make money for the station. No, officer, I would never imagine hurting people. As we continue to build this device, I want you to take a guess as to what the purpose of its various components are. 10 telecrystals to whoever can guess what this part of the machine does. Linking the last few components, the device is now complete. Each part provides a valuable and irreplaceable purpose. The autolathe at the back manufactures illegal gun parts, which are then sent to the front via conveyor belt line. The 2 logic gates create a loop that activates 4 constructors, all of which assemble the various other parts of the firearm, namely pipes, wooden handles, and cloth. I actually learned the hard way when I was testing this that pipes, when made in large amounts, lag the entire server to death. and it took a few attempts to realize what was causing the issue. All of the parts are then sent to the front, where the constructor assembles them into a makeshift and highly illegal firearm. The robotic arm at the front has been programmed to filter and collect only the shotguns, moving them to the loading zone. The secondary autolathe at the front of the device produces wire at a quick rate, as well as being a source of steel. The device alone would be enough to destabilize just about any government the CIA paid me to, let alone a space station. It produces about 400 shotguns per hour when fully equipped, and we have enough supply and income to run it for roughly forever, but we're missing something. What is the purpose of the aforementioned mysterious chamber? And why does the captain keep hearing screams from inside of it? To answer this, we need to introduce the most versatile tool in our collection, the Mantis Grasp. The Rustpath Mantis Grasp has a few interesting abilities. Primarily, it can destroy structures in 1 or 2 hits, depending on what type of structure. And second, it can mark humanoids with a curse. Neither of these are important to us. Its only important ability is the ability to rust floor tiles. Rusted tiles heal heretics that walk on them and inflict sickness upon heathens. It just so happens that said sickness has a chance to make the target vomit, which is the final requirement for the rusted ritual. It also just so happens that God considers all animals to be soulless heathens that go to hell when they die, and he put me here to send them there. So we simply fill the chamber with 5 chairs, strap monkeys to each of them, and ensure the monkeys cannot escape. They deserve this. Additionally, for some reason, there's no requirement for vomiting. You can do it endlessly, even on an empty stomach. This is very good news for both me and theoretical physicists. The final step of the device is to create a room positioned in the middle of the item stack and the fuel reservoir. This ensures that it can receive both materials for the ritual process. The poor botanist that helped us realized 2 things a little too late. First, that he was not in fact getting a share of the firearms, and second, that he was going in the chamber with the monkeys. And now, the industrial heresy revolution begins.
The emergency shuttle has been called.
Most wars begin with a gunshot. This one began with a paraplegic Santa Claus. Turns out that almost all of the cargo techs had armed themselves and others with both illegal and even more illegal firearms, significantly increasing the strength of the opposition. And speaking of opposition, the Christmas massacre was loud enough to draw attention, and people began to notice the sound of the constant Scientology rituals through the wall. And much like Pandora opening her accursed box, the poor critter engineer opened the floodgates, sealing the station's fate. Our first opposition were armed, dangerous, and moderately racist security officers. The shotguns they have are an issue for us, because the shotguns don't miss, and unlike the shitty hybrid taser, it stops the criminal in 2 hits. Bang, bang, and they're done. And sometimes they use 4 shots to be damn sure. But the shotgun has a small weakness. You can only carry so many shells. So, taking inspiration from the Zulu Wars, we do the only thing we can. Throw soldiers to the front line by the dozen until they run out of ammunition. Sure, the walkers are weak, and I may have to trade 3 to 4 for every kill, but those are acceptable rates when you can produce 6 soldiers a minute. Sooner than later, their ammunition reserves begin to dwindle, and it only took the brave sacrifice of 15 patriots, who will not be forgotten. Not only do we have the advantage of swarm tactics, but also intimidation. Anytime combat takes place near our base of operations, everybody nearby is bombarded by the constant sounds of monkey vomit, dark rituals, as well as the curse of sickness. These combat conditions almost perfectly imitate the experience of being an elementary school teacher. Now, to the credit of the security team, they did manage to flank me while the bottom security force was mid-combat. The captain and their trusty engineer attacked from the top, only to be greeted by 7 moderately upset gang stalkers, 3 corpses of allies who were supposed to back them up, 2 instances of shotgun-friendly fire, and 1 realization that the stun meta does not work on rust walkers. Needless to say, the captain frontlining was not a good idea. The death of the captain alerts the Blue Shield officer, a major threat to my plan. He has one of the strongest armors in the game, self-recharging guns, and, well, I mean, I guess you could just frontline like that. The death of the Blue Shield officer alerts the Changeling Salvager with their infinite self-heal, busted magical... God damn it! As the station's leadership structure begins to break down, security officers and crewmates become more desperate, and they fight without coordination. And without coordination, security starts to lose people to attrition.
The emergency shuttle has been locked.
As more and more security officers start to go down, the attention of the now uncontrollable Rust Walker horde begins to turn to civilians. The first go-to are the doctors who rush to the front lines after being jump scared by dozens of new corpses on their sensor trackers. Normally this would be a non-issue, as doctors are squishy weaklings who took the Hippocratic Oath. But what is a Hippocratic Oath, if not the oath of a hypocrite? So most of them have illegal and dangerous weapons. Not that this matters, after all, because so do we. I'm pretty sure this guy was like a brand new player. He was trying to make peace with the Rust Walkers. You poor bastard. Imagine this being your first round. While the other doctors were desperately trying to bring bodies back, the Medbay created a plan. They would employ World War I tactics and begin the production of bombs to hold off the endless horde of murderous beasts that were rapidly gaining ground on Medbay in some sort of primitive grenade-based trench warfare. This might have worked had it not been for the enormous swarm that was accidentally led to Medbay by the droves of horrified civilians. Every good antagonist round needs a Medbay massacre.
detected.
With security mostly destroyed and Medbay rapidly falling, the crew's power to protect themselves was rapidly failing, and the Horde turned its eyes to Cargo. Having already spent most of their funds on firearms, Cargo was well equipped to handle the onslaught, and took out quite a few walkers. However, there's an issue. Fighting Rustwalkers is a lot like fighting a Slavic person. The noise generated by clashing with them will inevitably summon stronger and more bloodthirsty drunks to your location. At first they won, and they destroyed any incoming monsters, but soon they began failing to protect the nearby territory, and it only got worse from there. Dorms 4 was lost. Then the tool room. Then, the reporter's office. Try as they will, Cargo loses more and more ground to the encroaching horde, eventually being forced to board both of their shuttles to flee. Unfortunately for them, only one shuttle was fast enough, and the group of greedy capitalists were brutally slaughtered by the Maoist revolutionaries. But even those who did manage to escape were not safe.
Kill the ones down there too.
All this while, I've still been at the factory, producing more. At peak population, we had over 100 Rust Walkers, and at this point, the station has completely crumbled under the weight of the army. With nothing but stray stragglers holding on to hope, the NTR manages to call a reinforcement kill team to secure and protect the remaining civilians. While this was happening, what was left of the security and cargo teams secured evac, and were fighting a long battle over the course of 20 minutes trying to hold back the tide. Only a small handful of the crew survived this long, and this is how it went for them. Hey, as I was saying, I have a game server now that I'm working on. It's a dystopian-based fork with tons of new content based on the concept of encouraging other players to do some of the crazy things and gimmicks that I do in my videos, and, you know, just encouraging player freedom in a lot of ways. Some of the features we are currently working on and that we already have are the audio occlusion system mission. The audio occlusion system mentioned earlier. We have gun and throwing weapon prediction, which makes bullets fire the second you click your mouse. We have a genetics system. We have a skill system. We have an improved crafting and cooking system. We have laser-based security and just tons more general antagonist crew and other miscellaneous content. It also has this disgusting beast you're seeing on the screen right now. It is still in active development, and the money we get from the Patreon goes towards paying coders, maintainers, and commissioning lobby arts, some of which I'm putting on screen right now, for the server. So if it sounds like something you are interested in playing or supporting, I would really appreciate if you checked out the Discord link in the description or just joined us on the hub. The name is Traumastation, and it should be online when the video is, and yeah. Should be going 24/7 pretty soon. Currently it's playtest only, but I'll have it up the week of the video. So also, let me know if you enjoy the hybrid style of videos more or less than the fully voiced ones. I try to include a balance between the newer style and the older style. A lot of people mentioned they like the older one a lot more, so trying to keep everyone happy, so let me know. As always, a massive thank you to all of our patrons, without whom I wouldn't have been able to make this passion project of mine, the server, a reality at all. And it is because of them that we've been able to pay the community for their hard work and get as far as we have in a couple of short months. So thank you again. It makes these long nights of editing so much easier, knowing that I have the community support with this.